All of this and more on World Business Watch.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching WION World is One. This is World DNA, the show that gets you ahead of the rest. I'm Shivan John.
And I'm Diksha Bisla, and coming up on the show today, the Trump administration has been given a fresh rebuke, and this time directly from the Republican-controlled Senate. The upper house of US Congress has approved a measure instructing President Donald Trump to halt the war in Iran or seek congressional approval. We're going to get you all the details on the show today. Stay tuned.
Also on World DNA, amid the fifth round of Israel-Lebanon talks, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has now rejected Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon and other foreign interference as well. There's more on that front. Let's start with the headlines first. This is World DNA.
US President Donald Trump says Iran has agreed to halt nuclear inspections into infinity, despite Tehran saying it had made no such concessions in negotiations, raising questions about the viability of their peace understanding.
The International Maritime Organization begins evacuating more than 11,000 sailors stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. The UN agency says the operation will be carried out in close cooperation with Iran, Oman, all other coastal states in the region, and the United States.
US Congress passes a resolution calling for an end to war with Iran. The resolution is largely symbolic, but still a setback and a rebuke for President Donald Trump.
Lebanese President Joseph Aoun rejects Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon and also pushed back against other foreign interference in his country. The statement comes amid the fifth round of talks between Israel and Lebanon.
France experiences its hottest day since measurements began in 1947. The Eiffel Tower at the Louvre in Paris had to shut early because of the heat wave, while 1,800 schools have been closed. At least 40 people have drowned while swimming in unsupervised areas in a single week.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says his country is equipping the Navy with nuclear weapons and unveils plans to build 10,000-ton warships.
The International Human Rights Foundation condemns life sentence to activists Mehrang Baloch and Sibghatullah Shah by a Pakistani court. The organization calls the verdict a blatant miscarriage of justice.
Asian markets opened mixed on Wednesday, with South Korea's Kospi rebounding over 3% after a steep 10% drop. Investors are watching whether gains in tech stocks can steady sentiment after recent Wall Street losses.
Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the first player to score in 6 World Cup campaigns as the Portugal captain struck twice in a 5-0 win against Uzbekistan.
All right, starting you off with West Asia updates amid the 5th round of Israel-Lebanon talks. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has rejected Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon.
And the other foreign interferences in the region as well. And now, according to a statement released by the Lebanese president's office, Aoun said that Lebanon will accept nothing less than an end to Israeli occupation of South Lebanon, an end of foreign tutelage, and hinting at the role of Iranian proxies in the region.
Hezbollah chief Naim Qassem too has demanded a scheduled withdrawal of Israeli troops from South Lebanon and the deployment of the Lebanese army south of the Litani River. The demand follows deadly clashes between Israel and Hezbollah. Lebanese media reports say at least 2 people have been killed by Israeli fire.
We now have a ceasefire. The withdrawal must take place according to a timetable. Israel has no choice but to fully withdraw from all Lebanese territory without retaining an inch.
Hezbollah slammed it as a blatant Israeli truce violation and a treacherous attack. However, the Israeli military says it fired warning shots at 4 alleged Hezbollah militants. Earlier this week, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israeli forces in Lebanon retained full freedom of action to thwart any direct or developing threat.
Now, amid the hostilities, the United Nations has said that the ceasefire in Lebanon is largely holding. Speaking to the press, a spokesperson for the UN confirmed intermittent hostilities between the IDF and Hezbollah and urged all parties to refrain from escalation.
Phil, colleagues tell us that the latest ceasefire announced for Lebanon on June 19th appears to be largely holding. However, peacekeepers did observe kinetic activity yesterday near Al-Bayada in Sector West, where heavy machine gun fire and 2 40mm grenades were fired by the IDF towards the east-northeast of UN Position 1-26. That was followed by a Merkava tank firing 3 shots towards Al-Munsuri.
Meanwhile, the UN Security Council has adopted a resolution to strengthen accountability for attacks on UN peacekeepers. The resolution, drafted by Denmark and Pakistan and co-sponsored by 152 countries, was passed unanimously. The move follows a series of deadly incidents targeting UN personnel, including the killing of 7 peacekeepers who were serving with the United Nations interim force in Lebanon earlier this year. All right, moving on, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that Washington would not accept Iranian tolls or fees on the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, this as disputes over the vital waterway, nuclear inspections and missiles exposed early strain in these negotiations to end the West Asia war. Listen to this clip.
Well, that's the law. It's an international waterway. No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway. That's existing international law. That's the way it is in international waterways all over the world, and that's the way we expect it'll be here. So I don't think we have anybody to convince around here in that regard. I think all the countries in this region would agree with us.
But Iran has repeatedly insisted it will retain control over the waterway. On Tuesday, Tehran and Oman said in a joint statement that they would study the administration of the trade route and costs to be charged for services, while insisting on their sovereignty over the strait. Rubio, opening a regional tour in the UAE, he said that Washington would oppose any such move.
Now, the UN's Maritime Agency, meanwhile, said that it would begin evacuating more than 11,000 sailors stranded by the blockade, working with Iran, Oman and the United States after securing the necessary safety guarantees.
Now, traffic through the strait on Monday reached its highest level since the war began. And according to 2 maritime tracking platforms, though it remained just over 40% of the normal peacetime level of about 120 vessels a day.
Diplomacy was in full swing on Tuesday, with Rubio beginning a tour of Gulf allies and Iran's president visiting mediator Pakistan. But Tehran signaled that its ballistic missile program would not be part of a final settlement.
The issue of our missiles does not exist in the memorandum we had, and it never will. If we did not have our missiles, which were for our self-defense, Israel and America would have attacked Iran like they did Gaza, showing no mercy to anyone, young or old. They talk about human rights, a huge lie, and if we were unable to defend ourselves, they certainly would not have shown any mercy to our country and would have destroyed our power. Consequently, under no circumstances will we ever negotiate about our defensive capability with anyone.
Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif confirmed that the preliminary US-Iran agreement made no mention of ballistic missiles, saying there could not be double standards on which countries may possess them. Listen to this.
Iran, our brotherly country, has ballistic missile only for their defense purposes. There are many other countries around the globe who have such missiles in their stockpile. So why object to Iran's ballistic missile?
Russian strikes have killed 9 people across Ukraine, and that includes 6 in the central Dnipropetrovsk region that borders the front line.
Belarusian strikes on Kerviri killed 6 people, while attacks in Odessa, Zaporizhzhia and Kherson claimed 1 life each. Ukraine's Air Force said that Russia launched 135 drones at Ukraine, 118 of which were shot down.
Ukraine has stepped up its own strikes, frequently hitting oil depots in Russia and refineries that it says are used to fund the war. Satellite images taken between 12th and the 22nd of this month showed damage to Russian infrastructure, including bridges, roads and oil storage facilities in Crimea and parts of Russia.
On Tuesday, Ukraine's military said it destroyed a railway bridge over the North Crimean Canal, describing it as a strategic military logistics crossing used by Russian forces. Drone footage released by Ukraine's Special Operations Forces showed strikes on a bridge over the North Crimean Canal.
Now, amidst the intensifying attacks, an air raid shelter has appeared in Russia's Kronstadt town near St. Petersburg. The area had come under attack by Ukrainian drones while President Putin was attending a key economic summit in St. Petersburg in early June. Similar shelters are common in other Russian cities near the border with Ukraine, but are rare in places like Kronstadt, 1,000 kilometers away from the front line.
Meanwhile, Russia has said that the US is no longer an objective mediator in its efforts to broker an end to the Ukraine war. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that US actions appear to be pushing sanctions pressure on Russia.
He also accused Washington of failing to deliver on understandings reached between Presidents Putin and Donald Trump at the summit in Alaska last August.
As for the United States, judging by their actions, they appear to be abandoning any claim to the role of an objective mediator and are instead pursuing a course of escalating sanctions pressure on Russia. The statement made by the President of the United States right after Anchorage has been already forgotten, that what is needed in Ukraine is a long-term peace, not a truce for a couple of years, and that Anchorage laid the groundwork for moving in that direction.
In a separate event, Putin accused Europe of openly preparing for a war with Russia through its massive rearmament program.
Now openly speaks of preparing for war with us and is ramping up military budgets focused on offensive capabilities. To justify such spending and the radical militarization of their states, NATO and EU leaders continue to rely on false claims regarding a supposed Russian military threat.
And speaking about the recent Ukrainian drone strikes deep inside Russian territory, Putin said that they are aimed at destabilizing the Russian society and creating a sense of uncertainty regarding the actions of the Russian armed forces. Putin, however, did agree to move forward on the agreements reached in Istanbul. He added that there were no grounds for Russia to depart from the agreements.
Russia, however, as has been stated repeatedly, is ready for peace negotiations with Ukraine. It is ready to proceed on the basis of the agreements reached back in Istanbul, agreements which, I would remind you, were initialed at the time by the Ukrainian delegation. That means they were satisfied with them, and I see no grounds for us to depart from those agreements.
The sky is streaked with dramatic hues of red over Mias, a resort city in Russia, as storm move across the region.
And the authorities issued warnings against heavy rain and thunderstorm. There's more in this next report and in these next visuals. Take a look. A $14 million makeover promised to revive one of America's iconic landmarks. But within weeks, the makeover began falling apart.
And this with green algae and peeling paint returning to Washington's reflecting pool. President Donald Trump blames vandals as authorities arrested 5 people and issued federal citations to 5 others. Now the pool will be drained again for repairs. Take a look at this next report for more details.
It was supposed to be a symbol of renewal, a century-long upgrade for one of Washington's most recognizable landmarks. But the new look did not survive the spotlight. The Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool is facing fresh trouble after its newly applied blue coating started peeling away and algae began returning shortly after reopening. The project, backed during Donald Trump, was promoted as a major restoration effort designed to last for generations. But less than 2 weeks after the reopening, the surface showed signs of damage. Trump blamed sabotage.
No, we had vandalism. No, vandals. You know, we have I think 290, 300-foot slit right through it, probably a box cutter or a knife of some kind. Or we had people lifting up the basic, it's not a lot of damage, but we'll probably have to let the water out and refix it. They went in there with a knife. I was just told by the people over at Parks, they have 5 people are arrested and 5 people are under investigation right now.
The reflecting pool, built in the 1920s and stretching 230 feet between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, has long been beset by leaks, structural deterioration, faulty pipes, algae growth, and bird droppings. Trump vowed to fix it once for all, spending $14 million on the makeover. But the old problems soon returned, raising questions over the quality of the work and the planning behind the restoration.
It's a shame, because the money that all Americans pay at their national parks all across the country are supposed to be going to parks across the country, and instead Doug Burgum is diverting all of it to President Trump's vanity projects, and he's not even doing a good job of it.
It seemed like it was very rushed, drain the whole pond. I don't think the contractors were well vetted. I think that was all just kind of pushed through, all kind of like rush, because, if they wanted to really tackle the problem, maybe they could have started like 2 or 3 years ago instead of like just a few months back.
It's actually coming off the surface of the pool. It's proof that the man didn't cut the lining. It's actually flaking off.
President Trump has also publicly prioritized renovations across Washington. The projects include the restoration of the fountains at Meridian Hill Park and at Columbus Circle outside of Union Station. But for now, the focus is on the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. The D.C. Water Authority issued a permit to drain the rectangular pool. The repair company said it would fix the pool as part of its warranty.
Well, if there's one beverage that sports fans surely like to enjoy while watching any game unfold, and they are among the many fans of beer.
And a beverage that is consumed in a wide variety of settings, and whether or not you are a beer drinker. Have you ever wondered which countries produce the most beer? While beer fans are spread out around the world, brewing is done at scale and it is a different ballgame altogether. So where does the most beer come from? That's what we look at in this next report.
Well, according to the Bathhouse report, 2024 to 25, the top 5 beer-producing countries accounted for almost half of global output. When it comes to the world's largest beer producers in 2024, measured in US gallons, China ranks first. According to it, it brewed 9.0 million gallons of beer in 2024, producing nearly 1 in every 5 beers worldwide. Now, as per the report, Africa was the fastest growing beer region in 2024, led by strong gains in Angola and South Africa. China also produced more beer than the United States and Brazil combined. However, its dominance has reportedly declined over time. For example, in 2013, China accounted for 25.7% of global beer production. The United States reportedly ranked second with 4.9 billion gallons, followed by Brazil and Mexico. And as far as Mexico is concerned, with 3.8 billion gallons brewed, it nearly matched Brazil. Russia took the 5th spot. The country produced 2.4 billion gallons of beer in 2024.
Africa was the fastest growing beer region in 2024, with output rising 6.7%. South Africa remained the continent's largest beer producer. The hop and beer industries, like any other, have been witnessing massive transformations with global crises, trade friction, market volatility, geopolitical tensions, and changing consumption levels. And these rankings are interesting signs now. Major global health organizations, including the World Health Organization, state that no amount of alcohol consumption is entirely safe for health. All right, and our next story is about an extraordinary journey, a message of peace at the FIFA World Cup.
Well, Iran left behind a handwritten note that carried more than just heartfelt words. It carried hope, and we tell you all about their journey at the tournament and why it's been making headlines for more than one reason. Take a look.
The FIFA World Cup, a high-octane tournament to win football's biggest prize. For one country's team in particular, the tournament this year has been an extraordinary test. It started off in the shadow of intense volatility and tensions between Iran and the United States. And as the two countries have traversed the delicate path from war to negotiations, on the football field, Iran has had a unique story. Iran have spent the tournament based in Tijuana, Mexico, which has meant the team has been returning to their base between games, commuting to the US for their matches because of restrictions surrounding their stay in the country, while a number of Iran's team staff and officials have been banned. US officials have reportedly said the squad's travel arrangements would continue to be assessed while discussions over easing some restrictions have continued. And while that has stood out, there's another reason why their World Cup journey has been making headlines. It might look like an ordinary handwritten note, penned down to present a message, but it's far from ordinary. It is a message of peace, a handwritten note that carried more than just heartfelt words. It carried hope. This is the note Iran left in their locker room on Sunday, thanking Los Angeles for its hospitality during the World Cup. and saying they are leaving with dignity after a 0-0 draw with Belgium that kept alive their hopes of reaching the knockout stages. Los Angeles had hosted 2 of Iran's Group G matches. Now what does the note say? From the ancient Persia of thousands of years ago to the civilized Iran of today, the spirit of Iran remains alive and steadfast. Thank you, Los Angeles, for your hospitality. We came to Los Angeles with pride and competed with honor and leave with dignity. The note also thanked Iranian supporters who gave their heart, voice and soul for the team during the 2 matches and ended with a call for peace, respect and friendship among all nations. The message ends with words that carry tremendous weight and hope. May peace, respect and friendship prevail among all nations. As far as the travel restrictions are concerned, Iran coach Amir Ghalenoui has repeatedly criticized the restrictions imposed on the side, saying the team has faced challenges no other side have had to endure. Iran, who drew 2-2 with New Zealand in their opener at Los Angeles, play their final group match against Egypt in Seattle on June 26th.
And with that, it's time for us to slip into a very short break on World DNA. But before we let you go, here's a reminder for our viewers in India. You can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on ZEE5. Tune in and catch all the action live.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Prime Crime is your front row seat to darkness. In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
Welcome back. You're watching World DNA with Diksha. I'm Shivan. Lots more to discuss. Let's start with the headlines.
US President Donald Trump says Iran has agreed to nuclear inspections into infinity, despite Tehran saying it had made no such concessions in negotiations, raising questions about the viability of their peace understanding.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian insists that Tehran's ballistic missile program is not part of the negotiations with the United States, says that without Iranian missiles, his country would have ended up just like Gaza.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that no country is allowed to impose tolls or fees on the Strait of Hormuz, as Iran seeks to extract revenue from the vital waterway.
Iran's ambassador to the United Nations in Geneva, Ali Bahraini, says only Tehran would decide how to spend that money from unfrozen assets, after President Trump suggested that any unfrozen assets would be used to buy food and medical supplies from the US.
The International Maritime Organization begins evacuating more than 11,000 soldiers stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. The UN agency says the operation will be carried out in close cooperation with Iran, Oman, and all the other coastal states in the region and the United States.
Authorities in Crimea claim that half of the region is without electricity after latest attack by Ukrainian drones targeting energy infrastructure.
France experiences its hottest day since measurements began in 1947. The Eiffel Tower and the Louvre in Paris had to shut early because of the heat wave, while 1,800 schools have been closed. At least 40 people have drowned while swimming in unsupervised areas in a week.
Alibaba is suing US Defense Department after being labeled a Chinese military company, calling the designation unjustified and damaging to its reputation. The case adds to rising tensions between Washington and Beijing over technology and national security.
Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the first player to score in 6 World Cup campaigns as the Portugal captain struck twice in a 5-0 win against Uzbekistan. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met national security advisors and senior security officials from BRICS countries in New Delhi.
And this highlighted the growing role of the bloc in addressing global security challenges. The interaction followed the 16th BRICS National Security Advisors meeting, chaired by India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, and came amid heightened geopolitical tensions and evolving security threat worldwide. Now, during this meeting, Prime Minister Modi described BRICS as an important platform for strengthening international security cooperation in an increasingly complex global environment. He called on member nations to enhance collaboration in addressing shared challenges, including terrorism, cybersecurity threats, to risks associated with emerging technologies.
In a statement, Prime Minister Modi said that India's BRICS chairmanship would focus on advancing practical cooperation, supporting the priorities of the global south and contributing to a safer, more secure and inclusive world.
BRICS, which originally comprised Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, has expanded significantly in recent years. And now it also includes Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. The grouping represents some of the world's largest emerging economies and has broadened its agenda beyond economic cooperation to encompass security, governance, climate, energy and development issues.
Now, on the sidelines of the meeting, Prime Minister Modi also held talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Prime Minister Modi conveyed his greetings to the Chinese President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Qiang. And he stressed on the importance of maintaining high-level engagement, expanding practical cooperation, and promoting the interests of developing countries. Prime Minister Modi expressed support for China's BRICS chairmanship next year, while Wang Yi reaffirmed Beijing's support for India's leadership of the bloc and called for both nations to play an exemplary role in promoting unity and self-strengthening among global South nations.
From Europe to West Asia and the Indo-Pacific, countries across the world are rapidly increasing defense spending
and modernizing their arsenals, while regional conflicts reshape the security calculations. And amid this global race for military preparedness, India's indigenous and jointly developed weapons platforms are attracting growing international attention. According to a Reuters report, India is now in talks with the United Arab Emirates to sell some of its flagship defense systems, including the supersonic BrahMos cruise missile and the indigenous Akash Tir air defense system.
As per Reuters, the discussions are still at an initial stage but are moving quickly. The UAE is reviewing military procurement options after coming under heavy attack from Iran during the war in West Asia and is looking to strengthen its ability to respond to future threats. Abu Dhabi is also keen to secure the Strait of Hormuz, a vital route for its energy exports. UAE has shown interest in the BrahMos missiles for over a decade, including in 2014 and in 2024.
While BrahMos, which is jointly developed by India and Russia, is among the world's fastest cruise missiles. It can be launched from land, sea and air platforms and travel at nearly Mach 2.8. The missile has a range of up to 290 kilometers and maintains supersonic speed throughout its flight, reducing engagement time and making interception extremely difficult. Operating on the fire and forget principle, BrahMos can adopt multiple flight paths, fly at altitudes as high as 15 kilometers and descend to as low as 5 meters in its terminal phase. It can carry a conventional warhead of up to 200 kilograms.
India would require Russia's approval before finalizing any BrahMos sale to the UAE because the missile is a joint venture. However, Reuters reported that this is unlikely to become an obstacle given Moscow's close ties with Abu Dhabi as well. Last week, Russia also confirmed that work is underway on developing smaller and even hypersonic versions of the BrahMos missile. According to Reuters, the discussions they also include Akash Tir.
Now, India's fully indigenous and automated air defense control and reporting system, developed by state-run Bharat Electronics Limited. The vehicle-based system integrates radars, sensors and communication technologies into one operational network. It creates a real-time air picture and automates the detection, tracking and engagement of enemy aircraft, drones and missiles.
Well, the UAE reportedly already operates the US-made MGM-168 ATACMS ballistic missile system, along with THAAD and Patriot air defense systems. Defense experts say Akash Tir would help integrate information from these systems to counter aerial threats.
Buyer interest in BrahMos has surged since last year's 4-day India-Pakistan war, when India used the missile in combat for the first time. Since then, India has signed BrahMos deals with Vietnam and Indonesia and has received interest from Thailand, South Africa, Brazil and Chile. The Philippines became the first foreign buyer of BrahMos in 2022. Assam's Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has approved the package of reforms aimed at strengthening the state's tourism sector
and also expanding higher education opportunities and addressing long-pending human resource issues in a state owned tea company. Now, Assam cabinet has cleared a voluntary retirement scheme for employees of Assam Tea Corporation Limited. The state government has sanctioned 9.75 crore rupees to facilitate the VRS package for eligible staff who have opted to exit the organization.
Now, in a major move for the tourism industry, the cabinet has also approved a new regulatory framework for homestays across the state. Under the new rules, homestay operators will be required to register through a government portal. The government says the new system is designed to bring greater standardization, improve service quality, and strengthen tourism accommodation infrastructure.
Now, the cabinet also approved changes aimed at attracting more private investment in higher education. Under the revised policy, private universities can now be established in rural areas with a minimum of 35 bighas of land, while the land requirement for urban areas has been reduced to 21 bighas. The government believes the relaxed norms will expand access to education.
In addition to this, the state government has established 218 tier garden model schools. 199 of these schools are already functional, where around 40,000 students are receiving education.
Officials say these decisions form part of a broader strategy to improve tourism infrastructure, strengthen educational facilities, and attract greater investment into key sectors of the state. In Maharashtra, what initially appeared to be a tragic trekking accident at a historic hill fort has now turned into a suspected murder conspiracy.
Ketan, who was the son of a prominent Pune real estate developer, died on June 18th after falling nearly 400 feet into a gorge at Lohagarh Fort near Lonavala.
Pune rural police have now arrested the victim's fiancée, Sia Goyal, and her alleged boyfriend, Chetan Chaudhary, for allegedly murdering the 26-year-old and then attempting to disguise the crime as a tragic accident. And according to investigators, Sia and her alleged boyfriend viewed Ketan as an obstacle to their relationship and even conspired to eliminate him. Investigators claim that Ketan was lured to the fort under the pretext of celebrating Sia's birthday before being pushed into the gorge. Ketan's family alleged that Sia deliberately sabotaged a trip to Bali with him on the 6th of June, which was meant to serve as a pre-wedding photo shoot.
But the family alleges that it was Sia who had hidden Ketan's passport, and as a result, the family had to return home, which put Sia and Chetan's plan into motion. Police are also examining allegations that Ketan Agarwal survived a first attempt on his life at Lohagarh Fort on the 14th of June, before returning to the same spot on June 18th.
It seemed unlikely for such an accident to occur spontaneously, especially given that Ketan was an experienced trekker. The family expressed doubts and a formal complaint was lodged based on these suspicions. Through confidential sources, witness statements and technical evidence, it was revealed that Sia Goyal had a friend named Chetan Chaudhary. The two had known each other for about a year. They conspired to execute this plan. At Lohagarh Fort, they pushed Ketan Agarwal, causing him to fall to his death.
Both accused have been arrested and charged with murder and criminal conspiracy. A Pune court has remanded the duo to police custody until the 29th of this month as investigators continue to reconstruct the exact sequence of events and examine all possible angles in this case.
All right, and moving on, in a major announcement, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has declared that the country will arm its navy with nuclear weapons.
And it will expand its fleet with larger warships as well. According to state media, Kim Jong-un made these remarks during the commissioning ceremony of the 5,000-ton class destroyer Chohyun in the port city of Nampo. The event marked a notable display of North Korea's expanding naval capabilities. Kim Jong-un stated that the program to equip the Navy with nuclear weapons is following its planned course, describing it as a strategic priority aimed at strengthening the country's deterrence capabilities. He also outlined plans for continued naval expansion, including the construction and commissioning of larger warships, such as the 10,000-ton class vessels in the coming years.
Well, North Korea, which remains under multiple international sanctions over its nuclear weapons program, it has consistently maintained that its nuclear arsenal is essential for national defense and deterrence against the United States and South Korea. State media said the newly commissioned destroyer forms part of broader efforts to modernize the Navy and enhance maritime strike capabilities.
And the recent disruption of the Strait of Hormuz has exposed the vulnerability of global energy supply chains and forced major Gulf producers to rethink how they move oil.
Along with gas to international markets, and now countries including Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Iraq, they're all now accelerating investments in pipelines and alternative export corridors. Here's a look at how the Hormuz crisis is reshaping the Gulf's energy map. Take a look.
The closure of the Strait of Hormuz has become a defining moment for global energy markets. The waterway handles roughly a fifth of global crude oil and LNG trade, and its disruption exposed just how vulnerable energy exporters remain to geopolitical risks. Gulf producers are now accelerating efforts to ensure future conflicts do not derail exports on the same scale. The focus has shifted from managing a crisis to building alternative routes that reduce dependence on one of the world's most important energy choke points. Saudi Arabia emerged as one of the best prepared exporters during the disruption. Its east-west pipeline, originally built in the 1980s to mitigate Hormuz-related risks, allowed the kingdom to reroute as much as 7 million barrels of crude per day from the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea. The UAE is now moving to strengthen its own resilience by doubling the capacity of its Fujairah pipeline network from 1.8 million to 3.6 million barrels per day. Iraq, where more than 90% of oil exports traditionally pass through the Gulf, was among the hardest hit. Exports and production fell sharply during the crisis, prompting Baghdad to fast-track plans to expand the pipeline and explore new export routes through neighboring countries. Beyond individual projects, the Hormuz disruption is driving a broader rethink of the region's energy infrastructure. New proposals envision pipeline networks linking Gulf oil fields to Mediterranean ports through Turkey, Syria and Jordan, creating alternative corridors for global energy trade. One such proposal, estimated to cost around $10 billion, aims to transform the Eastern Mediterranean into a major export gateway. Not every producer has easy alternatives. Countries such as Kuwait and Qatar remain heavily dependent on Hormuz. But the crisis has accelerated a strategic shift across the region. Investing in pipelines, diversifying export routes, and reducing exposure to geopolitical disruptions that can ripple through global energy markets. Business Bureau, WION, World is One.
The Five Eyes Spy Agency Alliance has warned that the most advanced AI models are improving so quickly that they could outpace current cybersecurity defenses within months.
And the warning comes as governments and businesses face growing concerns about the use of AI in cyber attacks. The Five Eyes Alliance brings together the intelligence agencies of the US, UK, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. In a joint advisory, the agencies said organizations should prepare for a future in which AI makes cyber attacks faster, more effective, and harder to detect. Officials also warned that security breaches are likely to occur and said that the focus should be on detecting, containing, and recovering from attacks more quickly.
The agencies urged organizations to strengthen their cybersecurity practices, including modernizing outdated systems and restricting access to critical networks. They also encourage defenders to use AI tools themselves to identify security weaknesses earlier and respond to incidents more rapidly. Well, the warning follows claims by AI company Anthropic that its most advanced models have shown unprecedented ability to identify software vulnerabilities. Earlier this month, Anthropic suspended access to its Mythos 5 and Fable 5 models for foreign nationals, and this after receiving a U.S. national security directive.
Meanwhile, the U.S. cybersecurity agency, CISA, has shortened the time available to fix serious government network vulnerabilities, reducing deadlines to just 3 days. The move reflects the speed at which AI could change the cyber threat landscape and the need for defenses to keep pace. President Draupadi Murmu conferred the 2026 Padma Awards to some of the nation's most beloved entertainers.
From monumental milestones to emotional posthumous tributes, here is how the Indian film and music industry's legends were honoured. Now, while the list of awardees was packed with legends, fans across the internet are particularly celebrating R. Madhavan. The actor who was conferred with the Padma Shri attended the ceremony accompanied by his wife Sarita and son Vedant. It became a heartwarming family moment for the star. Fans are ecstatic for several reasons. Madhavan represents a rare breed of actors who successfully bridge the gap between television, Tamil cinema and mainstream Bollywood, way before the term Pan-India became a popular concept in Indian cinema. Madhavan has been defining it. In his Hindi movie career, he also featured in well-known movies which have caused a paradigm shift.
Well, his popular Hindi features include Dhurandhar and its sequel Dhurandhar The Revenge, Three Idiots, Tannu Weds Manu and Rang De Basanti. For many fans of cinema, watching Maddie, as he is fondly called, receive this honour has struck a massive chord. Malayalam cinema's undisputed megastar Mammootty next was also awarded the Padma Bhushan, which is India's third highest civilian honour. His historic contribution is nearly unmatched.
With a career spanning over 50 years and more than 400 films, Mammootty has redefined acting standards in Indian cinema. His son, Tilakir Salman, had also attended the event.
Soundtrack of the 90s and 2000s would simply not exist without Alka Yagnik. Honoured with the Padma Bhushan, the iconic playback singer was recognized for her unparalleled contribution to Indian art and music. With thousands of chart-topping melodies to her name, Yagnik has shaped the emotional landscape of Hindi cinema for over 4 decades. Her timeless voice continues to resonate across generations, making this award a fitting tribute to her enduring musical legacy.
Now, one of the most poignant moments of the ceremony, the late Satish Shah was honoured posthumously with the Padma Shri. The veteran actor and comedic genius passed away in October 2025 at the age of 74.
His brother Arvind Mamania accepted the award on his behalf. Shah has made a historic contribution to Indian comedy for his unforgettable 55 different characters in Ye Jo Hai Zindagi, to the corrupt Commissioner De Mello in the cult classic Jaane Bhi Do Yaro, and the iconic Sarabhai versus Sarabhai, the character that he played. The actor has left an indelible mark on Indian pop culture, though the honour comes after his passing. His legacy of making multiple generations laugh ensures he will never be forgotten.
Cristiano Ronaldo became the first player ever to score in 6 different World Cup campaigns as Portugal stormed to a commanding 5-0 victory over Group K rivals Uzbekistan in Houston.
Now, the 41-year-old was under intense scrutiny following a subdued performance in Portugal's opening match, a disappointing draw against DR Congo. But when the pressure was at its highest, Ronaldo delivered. The veteran striker struck twice in a dominant display, ending a run of 10 consecutive major tournament matches without a goal. After opening the scoring in the 6th minute, Ronaldo turned to his teammates and mouthed, "I am back, I am back." Portugal doubled their advantage through Nuno Mendes, whose superb free kick found the net in the 17th minute. Ronaldo then grabbed his second just before half-time, putting Portugal 3-0 ahead and firmly in control.
Widely viewed as one of the tournament's favourites, Portugal showed their attacking firepower after the break, adding 2 more goals to complete the rout. Now, among them was a stunning strike from Rafael that capped a memorable night for the side.
Speaking after the match, Ronaldo acknowledged the difficult week leading into the game, admitting that criticism had been severe, directed at the team, the players, and especially the coach.
Now, the emphatic win leaves Portugal in a strong position to reach the last 32 from their group. That's all we had for you in this edition of World DNA. But before we let you go, here's a reminder to our viewers in India. You can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on Z5. Tune in and catch all the action live.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Prime Crime is your front row seat to darkness.